Hey everybody, welcome back to Motorsports. It is finally time for part 5 of the series where we are going to be fitting on most of the carbon and front end components that are going to complete the look of this car. I think that there's so much actually left to do on this car that there's going to be a bonus part 6. There just has to be. The car is heinously loud right now, and I got pipes from SunCal that we're going to do a part 6 on, and we'll do a compare and contrast to the sound with that. So this is part 5. We are going to get into the carbon today. We're going to be fitting the fenders, we're going to be fitting the hood, and we're going to be fitting the carbon to the front bumper that's going to go on. So we're going to start first. The most important piece here is going to be the fender. We gotta do the fenders on so we can line up the hood properly with those and make our adjustments from there. After we put the fender on, then we're free to put the door back on, finally. So we're going to start with the fenders. Let me show you how those go on. All right guys, so what we have here is a carbon fiber fender offered by Karbel. They're very fine makers of carbon fiber parts. If you're looking for carbon fiber parts and you want good fitment, they're probably going to get you the closest. Dealing with carbon fiber parts, especially aftermarket, it's, you know, if you've ever dealt with it, it's pretty tough to get things to fit the way you really truly want them. It takes a little finesse. These get you pretty close without too much of a struggle. If you can see, the weave on the inside is much greater size. Really strong stuff. It's integrated with a grate here that actually is a working vent that comes right out of the fender, which is cool because if you know, the original design for the fender vent isn't really a fender vent. It's like a cosmetic, cool, plasticky cover to let everybody know that you drive an M3 or 4. But now we actually have a vent in here, which is awesome. This is actually amazing build quality. I've seen a lot of carbon parts come through, and this is awesome. So let's fit it to the side of the car, and I'll show you guys how it all bolts up. Okay, so you see we've taken the door off to do this, and I'll show you why that's going to make this 100 times easier if you're trying to do this at home. The brackets that actually hold the fender on here, and up here ride really close to the door, and there's actually this plastic trim piece that stops, you know, like debris and liquid and stuff when it's raining from splashing back and getting all in here. And it's just really hard to work around when the door's on. So this just makes everything way easier. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna place this on here. And as you can see, I've actually transferred over all the bracketry from the other fender so that everything's gonna fit. And then when we have to put the front bumper on and all those things go down, everything's already done. So I'm gonna take this and rest it, pull this back a little, and I'm gonna rest this in here. And these are gonna wanna go in front of these tabs. Just being really careful here. And then this one actually goes in front of this one. You'll probably wanna put a screw in here to hold it in. I'm gonna grab one from here. You'll know which screws are your fender screws because they'll generally be painted body color. They were painted in the process. The fenders were already on. So I'm gonna stick this on here, kind of where I want it just to hold. And I'm just gonna put one in here hand tight. And it'll hold there. Now you can kind of move these things around. You're gonna wanna pop this rocker back up. And you can see, it's just gonna suck it in right there with that bracket we replaced. There's actually some hardware that we need to connect inside of here before we do this. I'm just showing you guys basically how this is all gonna clip together. I'm gonna put a jack under the jack point right now and yank the front wheel so that we can get access to inside of here, and I'll show you guys what's going on under the fender. Okay, as you can see inside this fender, the screws that are going to fix it to the body are going to go through here and come out here. So you have to come in this way, which means you're gonna have to remove this fender liner. Another thing you're gonna have to remember, on the passenger side of this vehicle, you have your washer fluid reservoir tank that mounts up in here. So you're gonna wanna take off this 10 mil that's right up in here, and you'll be able to pop it down and roll it out of your way so that you can get to your screws. Since we put one up top to hold it in place, I'm gonna go ahead and put one in back to hold it in place. Not really making it tight so we can still make our adjustments and then tighten it down, Once all the screws are in, I'm just gonna go ahead and place the ones that are tough to get to here. And then there's one really, really tough one right here. When you migrate your clip over, you're gonna see this screw actually comes up through the bottom of this bracket, which makes it rather tricky. I've found that the best tool to use is once you can get it kind of threaded on there with your finger, just a few threads in, you can go ahead and take a 10mm ratcheting wrench, and it gives you just enough movement to you know, move it 1,000,000 times and then eventually tighten it. So thank you, BMW. Click like and subscribe if you support Punch an Engineer in the Face Day. So we got our harness cables fixed back up to where they were originally located on the bracket. We can go ahead and pop this in. Sort of make our adjustments. This is why we left the screws loose. We want these to sink as deep as possible, and we want to be able to pull out from here to match up all the body lines. And that's looking really good, actually. This is matching up really, really nice. Like I said, Karbel is an excellent maker of carbon fiber, and their stuff just fits beautifully the first time, which is great. And as you can see, bottom of the body line, gorgeous. We're watching. Here you go. All right, let me know when. All right, so this is gonna be the first screw you're gonna wanna tighten, and you're gonna wanna make sure that your body line here is matched up as close as you can get it, and you're gonna crank that down. Not super hard, but hard enough so that this isn't gonna move around. And as you can see, it's set there now. Now, we still have movement in the back, so we're gonna wanna make sure that this comes all the way out to the rocker right here. Take our gun, send it home. Not too hard, it's carbon, so you don't wanna break it. Our next one. And that's it for our tough inside bolts. The rest of them are gonna be outside and easy to access. All right, guys, another reason taking the door off to do this makes so much more sense is because you see you have to access areas like this. And if you've seen the doors on these cars, right when you open it, this is all blocked. So, and there's a trim piece covering. So just taking the door off makes this easier. All I gotta do is put this in here, get it started. If you look up here, we're gonna wanna match this to the pillar. Fitment is looking really, really good right there. So I'm just gonna hold it in place, and then I'm gonna tighten this screw down. Beautiful. You can even see right here from this line that it's nice and consistent with the body lines of the car. You're gonna wanna leave this fender liner off. After you put the door back on, you're gonna wanna just make sure all this is fitting correctly. So leave the inner fender liner off so that you can still access these screws and pull in or out if needed. For now, we're gonna give our best guess. Initially, we would have preferred to fit these with the hood already on the car. Unfortunately, dealing with the world of aftermarket, we're still waiting for parts, so such is life. These will most likely have to be loosened up and refit just to fit the lines of the hood. This is a new part. I want to make sure that this is, yeah, it wants me to make threads into this part, so. I don't particularly like doing that. It's an awkward feeling. Okay. All right, the last one you're gonna wanna locate is the one on the bracket that we transferred over from the OEM fender. After this metal tab is transferred over to the little, I don't know, ear of this fender, we can locate it to our bracket hole and go ahead and send our last one home. Beautiful. So because we're dealing with the passenger side of the vehicle currently, you're gonna wanna make sure to reinstall your washer fluid reservoir on the inside of your fender well. This one, we got fitted back up in here. And then there's gonna be one 10mm screw right here that holds it all in. Everyone's gonna be like, but he's not using the torque stick and he's gunning the lugs down. Yeah, these wheels are coming off again so that we can do actual proper fitment once all the parts are on the car. So I'm just putting them on, you know, one glug. Glug. All right, you guys, and that's how we fit the fenders to this car. As soon as the hood lands, we're gonna film the second part to this particular video. As you can see, we've been stressed under time management and we are filming different parts of this series at whatever times we can. So as parts are coming in, as the wrap's getting completed and all these things are happening all at once, we're filming it and we're compiling how we need to. So if you see things sort of out of order, that's why. As soon as the hood lands, we're gonna put that on, we're gonna get everything lined up, and then you're gonna see the car in the end. It's gonna look nice.